the Vineyard of Fortune. In the heart of a sprawling countryside, surrounded by emerald hills and golden sunsets, there lived a humble farmer named Hector. His fields, although modest, were well tended, and his vineyard was a true testament to years of care and labor. For as long as anyone could remember, Hector had worked tirelessly, nurturing each vine as though it were a beloved child. His hands were rough and calloused, his back bent with the weight of years, but his spirit was unyielding. He found joy in the simplicity of his work, and it was a life of quiet satisfaction. Hector had 3 sons: Matthias, the eldest, who had inherited his father's determination but lacked the patience required for the vineyard's care; Levi, the middle child, a dreamer who was far more interested in art and poetry than the earthy tasks of farming; and Samuel, the youngest, who was sharp and eager to prove himself, though his impetuous nature often got the better of him. As the years passed and Hector's health began to falter, he knew his time on earth was drawing to a close. He had no grand riches to leave his sons, no fortune to pass down through the generations. What he did have, however, was his vineyard, a treasure he had cultivated with sweat, blood, and love. One cool autumn evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, Hector called his sons to his side. They gathered around his bed, where he lay, frail and pale, his once strong body now weakened by age. With a final breath, he spoke, his voice weak but clear. "My children," he began, "I am coming to the end of my days, but I leave you with what I have worked for all my life: the vineyard. There, you will find my legacy. It holds more than you can imagine. After I am gone, go to the vineyard, and you will see for yourselves." The 3 brothers exchanged curious glances. They knew of their father's love for the vineyard, but what he said intrigued them. A treasure? Perhaps there was something hidden beneath the soil: gold, silver, or some precious artifact that would secure their future. The thought of a hidden fortune stirred their hearts, and with that, they vowed to uncover whatever riches lay buried beneath the vines. After Hector's death, the 3 sons stood at the edge of the vineyard, the once vibrant green leaves now tinged with the hues of fall. The air was crisp with the scent of earth and grapes, and the horizon stretched out before them, wide and infinite. Matthias, the eldest, was the first to speak. "We mustn't waste time," he said with urgency. "Let us dig and plow through the land. If there's a treasure hidden here, we will find it quickly." Levi, ever the dreamer, was less certain. But father spoke of the vineyard with such reverence. Perhaps the treasure is not something material, but something deeper, something that can only be understood through hard work. Samuel, with his youthful eagerness, was already grabbing a spade. "Well, there's only one way to find out," he declared. "Let's dig." And so, the 3 brothers set to work. They worked tirelessly, day after day, turning the soil, digging up the roots, and carefully searching for any sign of treasure. Hours turned into days, and the days into weeks, but no matter how deep they dug or how hard they searched, there was no sign of gold, no buried pot of riches. The vineyard, once a place of life and beauty, was now a patch of disturbed earth, its roots exposed to the harsh light of the sun. Matthias, ever the realist, was growing frustrated. "This is foolish," he muttered one evening as they sat exhausted in the vineyard. "There's no treasure here. We've wasted enough time." Levi, however, was contemplative. "Perhaps the treasure is not something we can see," he mused. "Perhaps it's something we must feel. The work, the care, the love that went into this vineyard. Maybe that is the treasure our father spoke of." Samuel, though weary, nodded in agreement. "You're right. We've been so focused on what we want to find that we've ignored what's right in front of us. The vineyard itself, what it has given us, is a treasure in its own right." And so, the brothers decided to stop their digging and give the vineyard the care it deserved. They returned to the task of tending to the vines, pruning them, removing weeds, and watering the plants. It was grueling work, but with every passing day, they found themselves growing more connected to the land, more attuned to the rhythm of nature, and more appreciative of the simple joys that came from nurturing the earth. As the months passed, the vineyard slowly began to recover from the upheaval. The vines grew back stronger, the soil richer, and the air filled with the scent of ripening grapes. By the time summer arrived, the vineyard was once again thriving, and the brothers realized something remarkable. The fruit from their labor was unlike anything they had ever seen before. The grapes were plumper, juicier, and more vibrant than any harvest they had ever produced. The vineyard, now in full bloom, yielded an abundant crop that far surpassed anything Hector had ever harvested. The brothers pressed the grapes and produced a wine that was rich and full-bodied, unlike anything they had ever tasted. Word of the extraordinary wine spread quickly, and soon, people from all over the region came to sample the nectar from the vineyard. The brothers sold their wine at a high price, and before long, they were wealthy beyond their wildest dreams. But more importantly, they had come to understand the true meaning of their father's words. The treasure Hector had spoken of was not buried beneath the soil, but woven into the very fabric of the vineyard itself. It was in the work, the toil and sweat, and in the rewards that followed. The brothers had learned that the true value of the vineyard lay not in any hidden pot of gold, but in the hard work, care, and attention that had been invested in it. The vineyard, like life itself, was a reflection of the effort one put into it. Years later, when the brothers were sitting around a table, their wealth now secured, they would often reminisce about their father's final words. They understood now that the treasure Hector had left them was not something that could be measured in coins or material wealth, but in the life they had built through dedication, hard work, and love for the land. And so, the vineyard flourished for generations to come, not only as a symbol of prosperity, but as a reminder of the true treasure that lies in hard work, the kind of treasure that money can never buy.